Today I'm in Fort Myers Cemetery in Fort Myers, Florida, and I'm doing a part 2 of how to deal with a bully. So come along with me. For any of you that have viewed a lot of my videos on YouTube, you'll see, and I'll include in the links of it, of this video, story about Ken McElroy, and it's actually a story about a town called Skidmore, Missouri, and how they dealt with him. He was such a bully, just mean to everybody. And this is part 2 of that. It's not about Ken. It's about a guy named Edgar J Watson. Now, Edgar is buried right here in Fort Myers Cemetery. This is the family plot. I guess there's a few of them. I can't imagine who would want to be married to him or related to him. This is where he's buried. Now, Edgar, he was a Western outlaw. He was born in 1855, and he was actually born in South Carolina. And in his youth, he was living somewhere in the Oklahoma territories, and he had ended up killing a guy in a knife fight, and that's how he fled to Oklahoma. And while he was in Oklahoma, there were just dead bodies everywhere. I mean, he was getting into fights with people and killing them, and finally in 1889 he was suspected of killing Belle Starr, the female outlaw. He was put on trial, but nothing ever came of it. He was actually acquitted of that charge. And finally he returned to Florida and bought a sugar plantation. The strange thing about it, he would hire fugitives to work this sugar plantation, and when it would come payday for him to pay them, he would line them all up like he was going to pay them, and then he would kill them all and push them in the bay and dispose of their bodies, and then the next season he would do the same thing. And at some point the local residents got irritated at him, or knew what all he was doing, and they ended up, a whole group of them gunned him down at a store called Smallwood Store. Now that store is still in existence. It got damaged in Hurricane Irma, but it is still in existence, and I think they're reworking it and kind of rebuilding it. It's been there since like 1902. But it's kind of the same story as the Ken McElroy story, to where the citizens finally just got fed up with it, and they took matters into their own hands and dealt with the bully. So this is where Edgar is laid to rest, right here. And I'm sure they were glad to see him go. Now, I just talked to one of the cemetery people here, and I guess this guy's daughter was, Edgar was originally buried some other place here in Fort Myers, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And his daughter found out where the grave was and had him moved over to this location here, like 4 or 5 miles away from where the original grave was. But here's where mean old Mr. Edgar lives, responsible for quite a few deaths in his lifetime. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.